everyone, it's Miss Siddiqui here. In this video, I'm going to discuss a couple of frequently asked questions that I've heard over this first week. Let's get started. So, I've heard some people ask, when is PLT in English? Because it's different in my other classes. I've also heard the question, when am I allowed to take a content assessment? Some of you have asked me in email and in person, when should I be completing content assessments? And then others of you have asked me, how do I set goals for a project? So I'm going to address these 4 questions in this video. If you have additional questions, email them to me and I'll see who else has those questions and I'll make a video if I need to. So when is PLT in English? So you will have personalized learning time 3 days a week in this class, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Mondays and Wednesdays, PLT will be about 15 to 20 minutes, and then on Fridays you'll have a longer chunk of time, about 25 minutes. So within PLT, when are you allowed to take a content assessment? So PLT is a great time. You can also come find me before or after school to take a content assessment. I will approve your request for a content assessment after you've showed me handwritten notes in your English notebook on all key terms for the focus area. So that's kind of the non-negotiable. I need to see handwritten notes. They need to be an English notebook, and they need to be on all the key terms for a given focus area before you are allowed to take the content assessment for that focus area. And during personalized learning time, I will only approve your content assessment if you've written it on the appropriate place on the board before class has started on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So some of you have asked me, when should I be completing these content assessments? Well, what I would say is that you should aim to complete or pass all of the power focus areas by the end of a project. So for this I believe, narrative essay project, you should try to complete narrative writing and grammar 1.0 by August 26th, which is the end of the project. I will always suggest certain deadlines on the Google Classroom and the PLP example calendar that I make for you each unit. So, in your PLP example calendar and the project steps, you'll see that certain steps are labeled as prerequisites. This means you have to complete and pass that focus area content assessment before I will accept your final project and before I will grade it. The reason behind this is that some of the focus areas are absolutely essential before you even begin to attempt the project. So this ensures that you complete the focus area before you start on a project that involves the content knowledge in that focus area. The last question I've heard recently is, how do I set goals for a project in the PLP? So I'm going to show you some screenshots of what that looks like. So in everybody's PLP, they have English 1 listed, and then they have this square on the current page that shows the project and the specific cognitive skills associated with it. So there are 6: narrative, style and language, conventions, introduction and conclusion, precision, and organization. So click directly on this square where it says cognitive skills, and it will pull up the rubric for the project. What we mean when we say set goals for a project is set goals in the cognitive skills rubric. So take a look at the areas that this project focuses on and select a 3, 4, or 5 skill level for each of the cognitive skills. So for example, I have selected as my goal for the narrative cognitive skill a skill level of 4. So once I click on that, it will turn purple. Make sure you read the descriptions of the skill levels very carefully. I will grade you according to these skill levels And I think it's important for you to understand what that looks like. So if you set a goal of what you think your project looks like, you can compare it to how I evaluate your project. And then over time, you'll be able to set realistic and attainable goals for yourself. So that addresses some frequently asked questions that I've heard of over the past week. And if you have more, you can email them to me, and they might end up in a video next week. So don't be afraid to ask a question, because you never know who else might have that same question. Thanks for watching!